You hear me? Can you hear me?
I got you loud and clear.
Dude, I think it's cat shit.
That you smell?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a little offended that you said that.
That you did it?
Yeah, because that smells bad.
But it's only because we just have two people that live here. So it's like, I didn't do it. And Courtney's been gone so long. And so someone had to do it. You're the variable here.
Yeah, but that would be a really fast poop.
It smelled different too. I know how all the poop smell. So like I was like, this is a different poop.
Yeah.
So I thought it was yours.
It's a little troublesome that your cat smells
Like human shit?
Yeah.
What's
that about?
Which taste? Which smells worse? You don't know because you don't have cats, huh?
No, but I know. Me and Kelly talk about bowel movements all the time.
Really?
And I know that if we mess around and eat some bad food, my poop stinks. But if I'm eating clean, my poop doesn't stink. Do you notice that as well?
Yeah, but I haven't ate clean in a long time, so
so it just stinks all the time.
It just smells bad. I guess.
What do you think that is?
I don't know. I would like to say processed chemicals and stuff, but I feel like I feel like shit just smells all the time.
Yeah.
Maybe carbs, because you said when you did a carnivore, you had odorless poops. Is that right?
Yeah.
Is that right?
And they're like a firm, smooth texture.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah. Where you almost don't have to wipe.
Yeah. Well, we talked about that when I did all fruit. That was the same thing. And when fruit was like perfect. But when I talked to Hicks, he said his poops were like that too. And I was like, come on. And so I don't know, because he does keto, and then you were doing carnivore, and then I was doing fruit. So maybe it's just like a mono food where you're like just you're just eating one type of food, so your body gets really good at processing it, and then it's like just spits right out of the old conveyor belt, huh?
It's definitely something to do with the amount of ingredients or processed inputs are put in. Because if we go to Hooters and I just get wings, I don't like to do the
breaded ones.
Yeah, I'll do the naked wings, but I'll add a flavor to it. So whatever, Nashville hot or whatever you get over there.
Yeah.
It definitely messes me up. There's a noticeable difference.
Yeah.
Where it's almost like it upset my stomach.
We started feeding the cats this like food that's supposed to allow them to have like nice shits. And it worked forever. It was like, oh my gosh, like it was great. It wasn't like all nasty, because you have to clean litter box and stuff. And we swear when we have like we haven't cleaned in a while, they like save their shit until we clean it, because as soon as we clean it, you could like one of them starts running over there because it wants to use a fresh bathroom,
Yeah.
And it just does the nastiest shit, just the worst. Like you almost have to clean it again. And they'll just go in there. They'll double up. They'll both go in there, and then they'll probably leave, and then they'll do another. Like they're just trying to make us change it again, I think.
Do you like the cats?
I like the cats.
You're a cat person over a dog person?
I love dogs. It's just I'm not in the position to have one because it's very close to like having a kid. You travel, you need to get like a dog sitter. Get a dog sitter. You have to board it. It's just like having a kid. We were talking about this the other day. So like having a dog, there's good dog owners that like walk their dogs all the time,
play fetch,
like bring them everywhere they go. Like in Houston, there's all these spots that dogs can go with you and stuff. And so they almost move to a place that allows dogs. Like those are like the ones that I'm like, okay, that's a good dog owner. But then there's some that just want a dog to have a dog. And it's like the repetitiveness. It's like I come home, they're in a kennel, you let them out, you take them out once, they come up to you, lick you, like, hey, get off me. And then they put them in the kennel, go to work, come back, get them out, walk, get away from me, get out, And then it's like, oh, we can't go anywhere because of the dog. And then it's like, it does something. It's like, get in your kennel, It's like, and then it's like. What do you have a dog for? Well, it's like you just want one to have one, but like its life is probably not very fun. Just getting in a cage every day, like going outside once. And it's also like So the scenario where you live in a city and then you can go to all these spots and it's like very active, but ultimately having like a bunch of land where it can run around and do everything it needs to do is probably the best case besides being free, you know.
Do you enjoy time with the cats? Do you play with the cats? Do you pet the cats? There's nothing that you like. You can't play fetch with a cat, right?
No.
I'm not a cat owner. I've never had cat. I think cats are gross. I think they stink.
You don't like our cats? Be careful.
I love that you love your cats.
Oh, is that
right? I enjoy the fact that I appreciate that you love your cats.
Yeah.
But if you wanted me to babysit, like take the cats to my house and cat sit,
yeah,
it's not going to happen. I'm just not a cat person.
Yeah.
I don't want to see the cat walking on my furniture.
No, that's a problem. So dogs the same thing. They shed, but cats really shed. It's you have to have a lint roller like all the time. We try to limit them to go into different rooms or whatever, but for the most part, the cats have a life and we have a life, and they come up to us when they want to, and then they go do their thing. They sleep. We have an automatic door, so like they go outside. They can go everywhere in the neighborhood. They come back. They have an automatic feeder. Like we live separate lives very much, but when we come home, you know, they come and get up on our laps and we pet them. And
what a fucking life, huh?
It's great.
They're just living rent free.
Yeah,
you're paying for everything. You even install a little automatic door for your cats, and I'm gonna go outside and roam the neighborhood.
And we can travel, and they have an automatic feeder, water, and go outside. They can last for like a week without anybody coming over.
It's weird that we're such close friends, and you're not a dog guy, and I'm not a cat guy.
I like dogs. I'm gonna have a dog eventually.
What kind of dog?
That's a good question.
I think I see you as a little Pomeranian poodle.
I don't know. Rogan kind of makes me want a golden retriever.
Yeah.
I want just a super loyal dog. Some of those other ones, like Frenchies, are cute, but I think they're known to be a little not smart.
Are the Frenchies the one that look like a little bulldog,
mm-hmm.
like a French bulldog? Okay.
Yeah, and like pugs are kind of like that too. But it just takes a lot of maintenance too. They have all these medicines. You got to clean flaps and just.
What about pointer? Like one of those hunting dogs.
Oh, those are cool looking.
Those are bad dogs. My brothers have those dogs.
But all those that like a husky, like all these super like German shepherds, like it just, I guess they're gonna go to the pound anyway because we don't have wild dogs everywhere. They're all accounted for, but it just, those type of dogs need a lot of activity. So like that's like the ones where you have 10 acres of land and you can let them run and do all the stuff. Like having them in a suburban area. And like being able to bring it, like walking the dog, like with a leash on concrete around like once, because the owner, doesn't want to, how many laps do you go until they're tired out or whatever? You bring them to the dog park's pretty good or whatever, but just this modern living for dogs has to be painful for them.
Keep your dog on the leash. Don't let your dog off the leash. How did we domesticate them so well?
I don't know.
Like we domesticated cows and cattle and cats. But why are dogs so different compared to a cat? A dog, like you just talked about loyalty, and it's really happy to see you when you come home. Mm-hmm. It'll like know that you're coming home, start wagging its tail. Why doesn't a cat do that if we've domesticated them? What makes them different, right?
Yeah. It's like almost girls and boys. You know what I mean? Like the dogs are more like a boy. It's like it's like just wants them, I don't know, make you happy, and then the girls are just kind of looking like they don't. Ours are very much like dogs. They like want to come up to you and like be pet, and like it's almost to a fault. Like you have to kind of push them away sometimes because there's one of them we have will push off like 8 times, and it will just pop up like it was the first time. But normally they like. Some of them don't want to be pet, or some of them like if you pet them too much, they'll snip at you, or like they have a personality. Most cats aren't very social, I don't think.
Yeah. I just don't see myself ever getting a cat, and even dogs now. We have 4 kids, so
yeah, dogs are tough.
Yeah, just a lot to deal with.
So what's this article you read?
Dude, I can't find it, man.
No?
No. I have the picture from it, but I don't know if it was from the Mayo Clinic or John Hopkins. But it's the Chief Diversity Officer's Corner, so let's see. It's like a newsletter, and like, you know when you take a screenshot but you don't get the full screenshot of it? You know what I mean? So it's like
not.
It's not like the whole thing, but this is what they say. Hold on, I feel like I can look this up, right? Because you can
probably,
you can copy and paste it into Google, right?
An image?
Well, if it has words, you can highlight the words now.
Mm. Yeah, that'll probably get you close.
It's important to give them credit.
Throw a little chat in there, dude. A little chat to help you.
ChatGPT?
Probably just autofill the words, whatever you want.
Dude, ChatGPT, dude. All right, Chief Diversity's Corner.
ChatGPT is like slow to come around too. Like in our world, I guess it's like it's been around for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But like it's funny at work. People have never heard of it, and like so, I had one guy ask me how to properly ask a college what they offer and what sets them apart, like from a student's perspective. Like how do you put that into words that sounds basically how do you put that into words that sound smart and or intelligent? And I was thinking about it. I was like I could probably spend 10 to 20 minutes trying to like ask him what feedback he has, like what he wants me to like kind of write up. But then I was like, have you heard of ChatGPT? And so he set up the account real quick, and I told him the more you give it, the more it'll give you. Right. And I was like, put exactly what you asked. Like, what do you want this thing to say? And it spit it out. And this guy, for probably 2 straight days, was like, hey, I'm using it for this. Hey, I'm using it for that. He's like very thankful, because when you try to write even emails, sometimes it takes a lot of time, and because you're trying to get a point across, but also sound professional. So that it works really well in a business setting.
It's scary that you can feed it information, because we use it for signature touch all the time. So you can feed it information and come back the next day to that same thread and add more information. And then at the end of it, ask you ask it to do something for you to create something like long form so you can have content to post. And then it'll summarize everything. And then you can tell it, hey, it's a little too long. Can you make it a little bit more short and concise? And it'll be like, oh yeah, sorry about that. Sure thing. Here's the
it apologizes
like it's a person.
Does it apologize?
Man, I can't find who it's from.
That's fine. I like that. We used to write a bunch of hashtags, and we'd have to think of different ones to add for whatever we were talking about.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I bet you it does this. I was like, hey, give me like the top hashtags for whatever subject. And it spit it out, but it put it in order. It was like number 1, number 2, number 3. And I was like, man, I just want to copy this so I don't have to type them out. And I was like, write this again, but make it so I can copy it. And it understood, and it put it all in a series with no commas or anything. Copyable,
Yeah.
And so I use it. I use a different one. I use POE.
You don't use ChatGPT?
I don't.
What are you doing?
I don't know. Is it free?
ChatGPT is free. Yeah. There's they put out a free version. It's the one, or you can upgrade to the better one.
Is the better one the one that integrates with your keyboard? Like it's in your text application?
Oh, I don't know.
There's one that you can, like you go look at an image or whatever, like you put a GIF in a message.
Yeah.
It has a button like that with ChatGPT, and then it comes up with it, and then you can transfer it to your text or whatever. Yeah. It's like integrated into your keyboard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that a copy and pasting?
Well, I know the like the one you pay for integrates into other tools like Canva or like a video creator, so you can tell it, create me a video for whatever, like talking about Texas history and who founded Texas or whatever. And then it'll craft a video for you, or you can ask it to like build you a presentation for work and cover this information.
Oh my gosh.
And it'll build you a presentation.
Schools, I know, fucking hate ChatGPT.
Yeah.
But like work, I don't think will, because you become more productive. All those,
Maybe.
well, in a perfect world, it would, like these people making all these emails. Remember we always talk about the person that all they do all day is one email, and they're like looking at it. Hey, come check. Does this look okay? Yeah. That person may be able to just use that instead and kind of look through and take out words, swap words or whatever, and it would cut, what would take 20 minutes, like 2 minutes. So in reality,
you can tell though when someone's using ChatGPT on social media. Now that I use it so much, and now that I know how it writes, it almost writes just real factual and no feelings. It doesn't have the human element when it's writing an email or an Instagram post, and where it adds emojis doesn't really make sense yet. Like it adds emojis before a sentence or after a sentence. It really doesn't add it where a human would do it in the middle, like a smiley face or the blow kisses, like after a period, and then it starts another sentence. It'll do it before the paragraph and after the paragraph.
Okay.
No one really writes that way on Instagram. It's like sentences, right? Like they'll just sentence, return, sentence, return, and have like kind of a long post with like 50 words or something. But ChatGPT will put it in a paragraph and have 2 emojis in the beginning and then 2 emojis at the end. It's like, oh yeah, I know this is.
I've never seen it use emojis.
Oh, fuck.
Everybody uses emojis different though.
Yeah.
We didn't get taught in school where the proper way emoji should go.
Yeah.
Because like I do it after my sentences, because like each sentence would have like a different feel to it. So maybe it's like a happy sentence and then the other one's sad or whatever. But it doesn't look great. I guess it doesn't look great because it's not what we're used to. But some people, like you said you put it after a period.
Yeah. Well, it depends. It depends what message I'm trying to convey. Like, hey, we're going to be at like Lake Jackson Farmers Market. Like, so it's like, yes, like, or you add the hands, like, heck yeah, or whatever. Something like where it makes sense. Like you say something, you write a sentence where you want to convey more emotion. So you add the emoji after the emotion, after that, like the emotional sentence to like really, it's almost like I feel like an emoji is almost like an exclamation point.
Yeah, and so in some cases, if it's exciting or whatever. Courtney stopped me one time because she puts a space in between the emoji and the words. And so if I write one sentence and put a smiley face, I want it to be right up against the words.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't look like bad, but I think this big space makes it look like it's not part of the sentence.
Yeah.
And some people use emojis for the punctuation, like they don't put periods or commas or anything. In between their sentences, they put the emojis. So I think everybody uses it different, and you probably do it different than me. Yeah. And so like we have to teach ChatGPT what the standard is, because I don't think there's no standard. It's like it kind of went to the Wild West.
I think you're good at the emoji placement.
That means a lot.
Does it really?
I really try to. We don't want people reading between the lines. We got to put that emotion in every sentence.
I feel like the algorithm likes the emojis too. It favors emoji placement.
Emojis don't work with hashtags, right?
Ooh, I don't know.
Imagine when that starts.
That has to be a thing.
Why are we still doing hashtags?
Do they even really work? To be honest with you,
I don't think they work.
I want to find out now if you can do a hashtag. I'm just gonna search hashtag smiley face.
Have you
Yeah, it doesn't. Nothing.
Yeah, it just needs those main characters, like the standard characters. I forget what they're called.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that episode of South Park where it's all about ChatGPT?
No.
Dude, I think we talked about this. You have to like take the time to go watch it because you will laugh your ass off. This was like when it was new. And that episode was written by a ChatGPT. So it's so ChatGPT that it was written. They used ChatGPT to write the whole episode. They used what it outputted, and so basically, and it's so funny. So some of the students have little relationships with some of the girls, and they're doing really good. Like their girlfriends are in love with them. And Stan, one of the characters, is has a girlfriend. I think it's Wendy, and she's like, Stan just doesn't understand me and all this stuff. And she's like, why are all the girls happy? And Stan's like, why are all the guys like doing so good? And the guys were like, hey, you got to use ChatGPT to talk to your girlfriend. And so they would say some lovey-dovey stuff, and basically would copy what they said and said, respond to this. And so he learned it, and he learned it, and he would put it in, and then she was getting real happy. And like, so they showed like a time lapse of him he wouldn't even look at his phone. He would just copy and paste and send it, and it would like do little send sounds or whatever. And she came back, and he didn't know what, like, she was like, and we're going on this trip, and we're doing this and that. And he didn't know what the hell they've been talking about for months. So anyways, there's like a cult at the school of ChatGPT people because they're using it for schoolwork. So all the kids are using it for schoolwork, and they're getting really good grades. And they like see Cartman, he's getting A's, and they're like, "What's going on?" They're like, "Yeah, we use ChatGPT for school." All the while, the teacher is using ChatGPT to grade the papers. And so
that's so funny.
And so some wizard comes in to like. He's the only person who can tell if someone's using ChatGPT. He has a falcon that he sends off to like find. Anyways, so the students are worried about using ChatGPT, but the teachers are too, and they're all scared that they're going to get caught. But man, they are so good at like doing real time like events and stuff. You need to watch the episode.
Do you keep up? I don't keep up with South Park. I just watch the clips that are trending on TikTok.
That's pretty much it. But then you always hear there's an episode that like is really good. You
need to watch it.
Like there's a bidet one too. Like, like the toilets that one's so good. And, the British couple, that one came out and they were trying to sue South Park.
Oh, Meghan Markle. And,
yes.
Yeah,
they tried to sue South Park. And I guess their legal documentation is like so tight that like you basically can't.
Yeah.
So they'll always have a good controversial. They're all good, but they'll have a good one that comes out that everybody's talking about, and I'll go try to find it.
That show is very important for our society.
Yeah,
to keep pushing the boundaries.
I think shows like that are like grandfathered in. I wonder. I don't know if like new shows. I mean, it's different now. Like things aren't all on TV now. Like some of them are on YouTube now, and like some are produced on Rumble or whatever. So it's like. It's not like we're going on, Comcast and trying to find the show. So like if you produce it's weird because it's still on TV and still controversial, like, like Family Guy and stuff. But I don't know if they can make another show like that, right?
No, not without being boycotted. And
I don't know. Rick and Morty came out like later, and that seems like they touch on some different things, but I think it still can happen, but the way South Park does it, they're just so blatant, like about what they're referring to,
Yeah, I think it's important for those kind of shows and comedians to be talking about making fun of the stupid shit that's going on in our society.
Yeah,
whatever it is, politics or diversity, equity, inclusion programs.
Yeah, I think I heard something. There's like. The moment they make something where you can't talk about it, like sacred.
Yeah.
When they make something sacred, like not religion and stuff, but like regular things, social things. That's when that's when you start having a problem. It's like when you can't talk about certain thing, that's when your society is becoming somewhat corrupt.
Yeah. When it's a problem. Well, it's almost like the documentaries and doctors saying that you should stay away from certain types of food or promoting certain types of food, or only say, or like thinking that like holistic medicine is woo woo, instead of saying like if you have back pain, instead of like doing stretches or like, are you consuming too much sugar? It's our society's quick to prescribe medication for it.
Yeah.
It happened to Kelly, she's having back problems, and instead of just saying, hey, well, let's get you with a physical therapist and let's look at an MRI or whatever, let's get some imaging done. It's like, oh, here I'll prescribe you some medication.
That's nuts.
So easy to do.
And that, we listened to that podcast, was the Ways the Well.
Yeah, Ways to
What's his
Well.
name?
Yeah, I don't remember his name.
Okay.
But
Ways to Well. And he was talking about, this is something that's, talking about peptides. Everybody's getting into peptides because it's a really good thing for longevity. And the fact, I didn't know this was going on because we're not directly in this world, but he's saying that they're being pulled off the shelf and they're becoming illegal because they're trying to work on patents to make money off of them.
Yeah.
And it's like, and some people need these, peptides for whatever reason. I think, the CEO of the UFC used a peptide to I think, what did he have again?
I don't know.
Let's not get into that because I don't want to say non-factual things. But anyways, peptides are good, and there's something that occur in your body and naturally. But like because they're not patented by like the pharmaceutical company, they don't want anybody to get advantage until they get it and they get a piece of the pie. So it's like, and all that, all things have been done like that, so that we can get a profit off of them. It's kind of like I think what is it? What's Microsoft guy? Bill Gates.
Bill Gates. Yeah.
It's like he's trying to patent food now. Trying to make the thing a little different so it can be patentable, like a certain percentage different, like apples, bananas, all this stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like it's pitched as the greater good because we're trying to feed the world, but it's also we're making something patented that you have to buy. And I think it goes right along with that Monsanto thing, non-seed producing foods, to where you can't grow it yourself. You have to buy it. So it's like, okay, yeah, we're trying to feed the world, but why are we changing it so much that we can't grow it too? I mean, it's like we're trying to make a monopoly on like things that naturally occur on the earth. So it's kind of, that scares me a little bit. But you'll talk to a bunch of people and they'll have I had an argument with a couple people. It's like, and I don't want to. As soon as we do it, I'm just like, But it's like, yeah, he's trying to feed the world, but it's like also there's this other thing happening that you need to pay attention to too. And what's more important, I guess, feed the world, but also it's like there's going to be mass profits from this, and we're going to make like one person or one company super rich, from us. It's basically making us dependent on a thing where we can't support ourselves from just natural things that we've done forever, like growing crops and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's a little bit about of control too. I feel like he genuinely wants to have some type of control over society. But when you talk that way, or when you say, well, let's consider this, that there's some manipulation that he wants to do to the country, then you're almost dismissed. I feel like now you're not. Like now it's becoming more popular just to question things. And maybe it's Joe Rogan that's helping spearhead this with our society, or other podcasts like that. But it's becoming more acceptable to question things, question like the science, or not the science, but the people that's pushing the science, or the funders of the study that's being published.
Yeah.
It's becoming acceptable, at least in like my circles that I run into, which is like just includes you.
Yeah.
But it's coming, it's not
siloed, huh?
It's not so taboo to think that these people are fucking with us.
Yeah.
We have all this ability to access information now, where just 15 years ago we really didn't. Like the internet was out 15 years ago, but podcasts weren't a thing. Everyone had to go to the news, at 5 o'clock or 7 p.m. to get the news, and then that's what you believed. The news, it's on the news, so that's what you believe. Yeah. It's like talking to my parents and like making them try to understand that canola oil is bad for you and why it's bad for you. It's like, no, it's not. It's on the shelf. It's healthy. It's like, no, everything on the shelf is not good for you.
No.
And then it's like, well, if it's on, it wouldn't be allowed on the shelf if it's not healthy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it's really not healthy, they wouldn't allow it.
Yeah.
It's like, no, there's a lot of fucked up shit that we allow in our country that other countries don't allow.
That's a big sense. I guess the generation before us, it was all trust. It was like, don't
trust the government.
Don't question anything. It's like they're looking out for our best interest. But then you start looking at some of the standards for some of this, like especially you're getting into these products and like what you really need to put on labels, or like how much of a toxic chemical is allowed in a product that you use on your face or eat or whatever. There's tolerances, and a lot of it has to do with manufacturing. Like you don't, like when you're producing so much, you're like, oh, well, a little bit of this gets in here sometimes. You're like, all right, well, you have this tolerance where you can have up to I think like chocolate bars can have like, I don't know if it's a myth. You ever heard it can have so much like insect legs and stuff in it, or whatever?
You're talking about like heavy metals and stuff.
Metals, or like even like insect like particles from them getting wrapped up in the machines and stuff. But there's things that they allow in, and then but we think it's like, no, it's strict. It's what is it? Food grade. This stuff.
Oh, I hate food grade. The label food grade. Well, you hear about it from the USADA testing all the time, right? Like athletes, especially in the UFC, they're taking a creatine or a supplement, and that supplement that they bought is approved to use by the organization, but they get tested and they fail the test, and it's because these manufacturing companies or the packaging company, just the lot before they packaged that product, they ran something else that wasn't approved, and there's trace minerals, trace little drops of leftover product in the silo, in the mixer, in the hopper blender, and that gets packaged in. And I don't know where I'm going with that, but it's not perfect. Like you buy something off the shelf, it's not 100% this thing. Yeah, there's a bunch of fillers, like the word fragrance. Like, what does that even mean?
But
you know what I mean? Yeah.
But as soon as people become aware of these things, they go in the package. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like what you said. Like one of the things is funny. It's not funny, but it says on fair trade. Yeah. It's like, this wasn't being fair traded before. It's like they're like paying nothing for a bunch of work or whatever, and like it's being put on nutrition bars and all this, but then like gluten free or like BPA with plastics, like BPA free, but it moved to that other one. But it's like as soon as we find out about it, they're like, oh, that's a mark, because it's almost like expose yourself so then you can say it's not in there, so more people buy the other thing, and it's like, man, who knows how much manipulating that is, like, because you get to a point where you're selling a bunch of plastic bottles and then someone's like, hey, we could take over the market if we put out this BPA thing, and then we'll say we sell one that doesn't have BPA, and then all the other people have to shift, but we'll have control of the market for probably a year or so. Yeah. And then they'll switch to this and be like, oh, well, this really has BPB in it now, so you need to buy this bottle instead of like getting like glass or stainless steel or something. Yeah. So I think that we're just finding out about stuff, and companies are shifting, but to think if they were implanting that, like to get an edge, would be pretty crazy.
It's not out of the question to think that that's actually happening.
And that's what you're talking about. We're all skeptical now, which is good. Yeah. Especially in this time when information is not so factual, and there's a bunch of propaganda. There's like all that you can't believe. We talk about all the time. You could look up something and you have an argument for both. I think I watched a video. One guy was like, will coffee make you blind? And it said it would give you glaucoma, and it said, is coffee good for you? It says there are studies that have shown that it would increase your
life expectancy.
Whatever. It's about eyes, and you can look up anything, and it'll say whatever you want. Like if I've been looking up my eyes and blood pressure, and it brought up something like, it could cause if you have high blood pressure, it could cause blurry vision. Yeah, maybe true, but I bet you can find another one that says it fucking helps your eyes. Probably not, but something the opposite.
Right. No, it goes back to like who's funding this study, or what's the motive behind them doing it. There's a reason why they're doing it, and what's the motive behind it. But that is funny that you can literally research anything to have information to back you. Yeah, that's why it's almost like the information that we have at our fingertips. It's almost negative. It's really good for a dozen different reasons, but it's also really bad because when people get in these political jousts, and a Democrat versus a Republican, it's like, no, I heard this. Like, this is what MSNBC told me. This is what CNN told me. Well, no, this is what Fox News. I heard this. Trump's doing this on Fox News. Yeah. it's not about who's right anymore. It's or what's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
We kind of lost that about us. I feel like our society is just, how much mudslinging can we do to make a person have negative feelings towards the other person?
Yeah.
I'm really excited about JFK. I watched a bunch of videos last night. RFK, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, RFK.
Like, is he coming back?
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
But when he talks, I don't know if he's lying or not, but it feels really good.
Well, Joe always talks about, which I think is a pretty good point, is he came out with his book. It's like almost a bestseller. There's so many people that read it, and someone would have sued him by now by the statements he's made.
Yeah.
And no one has.
Yeah.
Because it's putting people on blast pretty much, and very detailed, and naming names, and no one has. So
did you hear about about Dr. Anthony Fauci when he was testifying in Congress this week about him?
This week?
It was this week, I think.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Well, by the time this podcast comes out, it's going to be a couple of weeks old, I guess. But he
2 months old.
2025. No, but he was saying that the 6 foot rule that was implemented wasn't based on science. I don't know like the exact quote, but that's essentially what he said. It wasn't based on science. So, and then it was like the newspapers are showing all these like all these images of the kids in schools standing 6 feet apart.
Yeah.
And when are we going to get rid of the mask thing?
We have.
No, you don't see people driving around in their cars in masks.
I think people just, I think let them wear it.
I feel sorry for them, but there's a piece of me that's that gets annoyed a little bit.
Before COVID, there were always people from other countries that would wear it when they started getting sick, so they wouldn't get other people sick. Like it already existed.
Yeah.
So I think some people now have adopted that. When they start getting sick, they put a mask on. So I don't care.
If you're 350 pounds,
yeah,
and you're overweight, and you're in the aisle and you're getting a bag of Cheetos.
Now you're just being mean.
And you're wearing I know it's mean. It's mean, right? But come on. Like, that's the propaganda that they were fed to believe. Like, this mask is going to keep you safe.
Well, I guess when you have a pandemic, and we haven't had one in a long time, it's like a new age pandemic. As a government that's supposed to look out for the best interests of the society, to do it in a quick moment, you have to come up with some protocols probably to show that you're addressing something. And it's like they probably like ruled out tapping your head and rubbing your belly. And they're like, all right, 6 feet.
Yeah.
But it's like, you probably need to get away from each other if you're sick.
Do you remember standing in line at the 6 foot and be like,
bad.
This sounds what is this doing?
Well, it's like the plane, right? All throughout the airport, you had to stay 6 feet, and then you sit right next to the people on the plane.
Yeah.
All while wearing a mask. I just feel bad for everybody that had to implement it, because whether you believed it or not,
as a business,
you had to implement. And then the people, I'd say the plane, because that's where I saw it the most, is like the flight attendants have to implement it. And so people kept, removing it, whatever, and like, sir, like, I'm asking one more time. But that don't necessarily mean they believe that. It's just they're told they need to do it. And then people will start getting really shitty to the flight attendants for trying to just do their job, but it's not coming from their like ideology. It's like
some people went overboard with it though. Like it was a sense of power.
The attendants?
Well, whatever
people that enforce it.
Yeah, whatever industry. There are some people that
for sure
that had the little power thing.
Yeah,
and then it was like this rule gave them the ability to call out people and call them bad people. Like, you don't care about people. You don't care about us. But you think if this happens again, do you think the way that we accept rules from the government will be different? Do you think that we'll like take everything at face value, or will, as a society, question more?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think about that a lot.
Do you really?
Yeah, because I think we're all questioning more, but the thing that scares me is that I think they'll go to greater lengths to make you compliant rather than just saying you, like maybe involve the government, like, or sorry, the military.
Yeah.
If people aren't complying.
I don't know.
It gets to the they have a movie coming out called Civil War.
Yeah.
And it looks pretty good. It's where the states they don't agree with each other. And it's funny, they call out Texas in there. I think California too, but basically Texas, I just watched the trailer. I don't know everything about it, but it looks like Texas is its own thing. And it's fighting against the U.S. government. It seems
Texas.
It's very but
we're Texas.
But it has to get to that point before, like, they could tell us and we believe them, and now we're skeptical, and now they have to use something to enforce it if they want it to be done.
I don't think the majority of the military personnel will do that to its citizens. Maybe if the government, if like the people in control brought in people from other countries to enforce the greater agenda of the government, maybe that. But I don't think our own military people would go against us.
I hope not. I hope they would not be, for whatever the situation is, hopefully not be brainwashed into just fighting for whatever is told to them, and then look at it, like you said, at face value, like what's good and what's bad, and not comply to just a silly thing. Kind of like, I guess, they always talk about like the Vietnam Wars, like we never should have been there, and like, but we're just gonna do it, and like we don't fully understand why.
Yeah.
I probably shouldn't bring up shit I don't know about, but I always hear about that.
I like it. I like when you do
it
this.
Sounds pretty good until someone really knows about it.
You can go a layer deep.
Yeah.
Like, ask you a question.
Don't ask me one. What year?
What year was it?
Oh, shit.
That's exactly where I was going to go. Because I don't know of anything else to ask you about it.
Yeah. No.
So I just go there.
I know Agent Orange. I know a little bit, but that's funny. We were playing like a Taboo or something, and I was half asleep. We were like, it was at Thanksgiving. I was eating pie and all this, and I was asleep, like half sleeping. Like, they had to wake me up for my turn, basically. And Courtney's dad is like all about history and like U.S. history, every kind of history. And I think her brother was going, and we were supposed to guess. Me and her dad were supposed to guess, and he was trying to explain a president, and I don't know anything about this, but we have her dad, and he's saying pretty good like clues and stuff, and I'm like, and I just throw out Bill Clinton, and I got it, and I said, guys, stop, and they all got like serious. If I'm answering these questions, out of all you, we've got a problem. And I'm half like, I woke up to guess or whatever, but it's like, I shouldn't be answering these. I have no education on U.S. history. It's sad.
It's a gap that I have too, that I want to listen to books about it, because I feel like I should know.
Yeah.
I feel like I should know more than I do.
Did you pay attention in school? Like in high school?
Come on,
like,
man.
you remember
Why would you put me on the spot that
You remember
way?
you cracked the books open and had like the paintings of like the war, and like you would read and then you'd do a test or whatever. Did you read and do the test?
I don't know what I did. I didn't pay attention.
I did no.
No, I didn't. I don't remember ever like reading you're supposed to like have reading assignments, take your book home and you're supposed to read, and then like I don't remember ever doing that. I don't know how I passed, to be honest with you. Well, then
you did what I did. But even when we read in class, I would just stare off, and like I could have read it, but I just stared off in space until the next thing came up, and then I'd just cheat on something. Like, I would just cheat and be like, okay, and then however smart that person was is how smart I was.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty bad.
The funny thing is I enjoy reading, but I enjoy reading information that I want to absorb, that I have a gap in an area I want to read.
We didn't understand how important history was when we were young. We're like, well, why are we learning this? This is the past. But now it's like, we don't want to repeat the past, so we want to know. But also it's good for just general dialogue, having conversations, knowing the timeline of the world or U.S. history or, world history, whatever. Yeah. It's like, it's good to be able to know where we've been and maybe say the date it happened.
Yeah, being able to articulate about it a little bit.
But
yeah, it is embarrassing not being able to recall dates or big names. Like there's a lot about Texas that, like Texas is a badass state. It has a lot of history in it. And I don't know about it. I know the Alamo a little bit.
Oh shit. You remember it?
I remember.
You remember it?
I remember. I remember the Alamo. Well, let's get out of here, huh?
All right.
I forgot how to do this. You want to give them your how do people follow you? And
just come by the house.
All right, love you. Bye.
Bye.